that physician-assisted suicide should be made legal in the U.S. for the terminally ill as an option. Euthanasia is a means by which we can end horrible human suffering and pain in the most dignified way possible. The least we can do is make it an option. Although others may see this as a permanent solution to a temporary problem, or as a violation of the Hippocratic Oath, but by not allowing this to become an option, we could extend the amount of time the patient suffers in agonizing pain.
Patients suffering for intolerable pain should be given the right to die. Wolf stated, despite evidence that most Americans believe physicians should be allowed to help terminally ill patients die, it is illegal in every state. Let's say, for an example, you are terminally ill, which means that this will lead to your death. Do you want to suffer through all the pain while your family watches and your friends watch you suffer? Dr. Ken Murray writes, I cannot count the number of times fellow physicians have told me in words that vary only slightly, promise me if you find me like this that you will kill me. They mean it.
While I don't want everyone with the disease to give up hope, as there are cures being worked on, I'm not advocating that physician-assisted suicide should be used in all cases, only that it should be legalized and available as an option. Goodman states, you, referring to you at an older age with a terminal illness, will become bedridden, unable to walk or even turn yourself over. You'll become completely dependent on nurse assistance, so you're either connected to catheters or spend a while every day lying in a puddle of your own waste until nurses can help you out. Now that sounds awful, doesn't it? Why would we allow others to go through this kind of humiliation and pain without a way out? Simply put, technology is not advanced enough to find the cures we need, so the least we can do is make it an option.
Patients say that it's nice to have euthanasia, but doctors say it's a challenging task to do. Patients say it's a way to die dignified, but the topic is depressing, so no candidate running in Canada wants to talk about it. If our doctors learn how to give euthanasia in a safe way with a shot, euthanasia cases in Belgium involved persons diagnosed with a mental and behavioral disorder. Belgium legalized euthanasia in 2002 for patients suffering unbearably from any untreatable medical condition, terminal or non-mental, including psychiatric ones.
Would you let someone kill your closest family member? Physician-assisted suicide should not be legal in the United States because killing someone is unethical and villainous. First, the regulations are just too complicated on who can get it. What about people who aren't terminally ill but have other handicaps that make life miserable, and doctors that have different opinions? Next, there are already services in place to make death comfortable, like hospice and nursing homes. Last, suicide is immoral. To help with or commit, even if you have permission.
So it's illegal for just any average person to help another person commit suicide, but it's okay for doctors to do it? Assisted suicide should be outlawed in all 50 states because it would be extremely difficult to make regulations and requirements for patients. The Los Angeles Times states, patients seeking doses of medication to kill themselves are not required to undergo psychiatric evaluation. One woman was euthanized after her husband died because she could not handle the grief. This was based on her mental state and not her physical state. Another study showed that 5% of patients euthanized in one state, only 5% had undergone psychological evaluation. With 991 total since the act was instated, only an average of 3 a year have been evaluated. And patients searching to be euthanized are only based on physical conditions and not mental. They could have some underlying mental condition that could sway the decision. This is why we should ban euthanasia outright, because we can't keep people from abusing it.
Our next argument states that there are already services in place to make pain and death more comfortable. Nursing homes do not resuscitate orders, and hospice work just as well. The Santa Fe, New Mexican states end-of-life decisions are already bad with the potential for abuse. Terminally ill people that have less than 6 months to live are always in pain, and there's medication and other things to help. There's always another option to death. Assisted suicide is holding up the white flag, surrendering, giving up. It's a doctor committing murder.
You may not. Finally, we would like to acknowledge the most important flaw with physician-assisted suicide. It is completely immoral. After 8 years of medical school, doctors graduate. When they do, many say the Hippocratic Oath. This oath swears them to be an ethical and caring person and doctor. They swear to treat patients with wonderful care and make their lives the best. The modern version of the Hippocratic Oath states, "I will neither give a deadly drug to anyone who asks for it, nor will I make a suggestion. I must not play God." This means the doctor should not play with the fate of when someone should die. When the doctor assisted that widow in suicide after her husband died, they violated the Hippocratic Oath. They made a decision not based on her illness, but the doctor's views were changed by her pain. The doctors helped commit an immoral and wrongful doing. The purpose of a doctor is to keep people alive and make them better, not end lives. Physician-assisted suicide is dishonorable to doctors' reputation and morals, and it doesn't help the patient in keeping them alive and making them better.
All right, now you may have 2 minutes to prepare your rebuttal.
My mom lost my passport a month ago and she had to, both of us had to travel.
All right, affirmative, let's get the rebuttal.
As my opponent stated that euthanasia is immorally wrong, Craig, I can never pronounce it, killed himself in a painful way. He took 12 sleeping pills and 2 plastic bags over his head and tied them with elastic. Euthanasia would be a calmer, peaceful way out. Also, my opponent mentioned that the doctors take a Hippocratic oath. The doctor is just giving the pills to the patient, not directly putting them in the mouth and telling them to swallow. It is the patient's choice. And Stephen Hawking also said we do not let animals suffer, so why humans? Why would we let, most families would not think of allowing their dogs or cats to needlessly suffer. Why can't we be just as compassionate to our mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters? I think those who have terminal illnesses are in great pain and should have the way out to choose to end their life, and those that help them should be free of prosecution.
of all, my opponent stated that euthanasia is illegal in every state, but that's not true. It is legal in some states, such as Oregon. Additionally, I understand that it is hard to see someone die, barely able to breathe from illness, but death happens. 105 people have died in the last minute. And as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Finally, euthanasia is used to help people escape a life of misery and sadness, a life they are not able to enjoy. But nobody can enjoy life when they're dead. And through all other services and treatments, it can ease suffering and help patients finish life in peace. Those services include medication, hospice, therapy, do not resuscitate orders, and there are so many more. And who's to say how badly someone is to suffering? You can't put a number on that. There isn't the technology available yet. We can't decide who is physically suffering. We cannot decide who is mentally suffering. So how do we avoid all these difficult regulations? Well, we could just get rid of the whole idea of euthanasia. One thing's for sure. At the end of the day, death should not be your best option.
Physician-assisted suicide death should be legal in the U.S. because do we really want people to die in a painful way with a physical or mental illness, or an elderly person who is suffering who has dementia? We don't want them to suffer anymore. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Would you want your life to be a really bad life just so we can have more people in this world? You want to die dignified and peacefully, no more painful deaths. Within our country, 5 out of 50 states have made assisted suicide legal because they believe in quality, not quantity.
Physician-assisted suicide should not be legal in the United States because killing another person is unethical and villainous. It is too difficult and controversial to regulate such a serious and permanent method while ignoring other options for end-of-life treatment. It is also simply inappropriate and immoral to even think about ending someone else's life before their time. So unless playing with the fates, breaking laws, and helping someone die seems all good to you, I think we can all agree that this topic shouldn't even be up for debate.